And good afternoon, everybody. Jim Miller and David Kaplan joining you. Dave is a busy, busy man, so we're coming to you a little bit early today, a little bit earlier than normal, Cap. But it's with good reason. You're a busy man because you are logging airtime left and right. So before we jump into the Derby preps, fill me a little bit in on what you have going on a little bit later today.
So our great partners at PointsBet, which is aligned with Hawthorne Racecourse, where you are the Grand Poobah, PointsBet and I, with the people at NBC Sports Chicago, have put together a brand new show. It'll air Monday through Friday at 6 p.m., and it is called Unfiltered. And I'll give you my unfiltered takes on certain things in the sports world, plus use our stable of experts. For example, it's the Derby. Oh, here's Jim Miller. He's our expert. It's the Bulls playing whoever. There's KC Johnson. The White Sox, there's Chuck Garfine. And if it's the Cubs, there's Gordon Wittenmeyer. If it's the Bears, there's Olin Kreutz, Alex Brown, Lance Briggs. So it should be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. First show is this Monday, the 4th, and it debuts at 6 o'clock.
All right, you say unfiltered, Cap. How unfiltered do you really get to be? I mean, how honest with your opinions can you go?
As far as I want to go, and I'll tell you a quick story, my friend Jim Miller. So a buddy of mine who's a huge horse guy, his name is David Abrams. Okay. He goes to visit his son 4 weeks ago in Scottsdale. And David is on the golf course with his son, and here comes a guy walking to the first tee. David's coming up 18, and he goes, "Joe Madden, I'm from Chicago. I'm a huge Cubs fan. Can we take a picture?" They take a picture. My friend David, who I've known for 40 years, turns to him and goes, "By the way, I'm really close friends with David Kaplan." And Joe goes, "We had some of our issues when I was managing the Cubs."
Wow.
He didn't like the strategy that I had employed, and he would make it clear on the post-game show. We're cool now, but yeah, we had our share of issues.
Interesting. But you know what? Honesty is the one thing that you got to ask from people. That's the most important thing. Go out there, be honest, give a good, honest opinion, and then stand behind it. So all the credit in the world to you. It sounds like it's going to be an awesome show. I'll be happy to join you come Derby time on that. Now, Cap, the reason we are here is the Derby. Now, we had 3 preps last week. Let's take a look quick just at the results of the preps. And it's just going to be a quick look. The UAE Derby, we talked about how Japan could be dominant. They were dominant. It was the wrong horses for us, but man, you see massive prices there. Dollar exact in the UAE Derby paid $654.80. Crown Pride, the winner, they get 100 points for the race. Again, I don't think anybody's coming in out of the UAE Derby to go over to the Kentucky Derby and be competitive in that race. But that's what we see for the UAE Derby. The Louisiana Derby, Cap, Epicenter is a horse that is at the top of the points list. This is a horse that is good. Epicenter is a horse that learned to run from off the pace a little bit, stalk the pace in this race, and then was impressive in victory. So Epicenter, horse that I think should be very tough. And then on Sunday, we had the Sunderland Park Derby. Again, you and I think, both thought this was a race that wasn't going to have a Derby horse. Again, there's points that get you into the gate. To me, it kind of clogs things up a little bit because Slow Down Andy was a good winner, figured in this spot. But again, I don't think, Cap, anybody out of that race is going to be into the Kentucky Derby, at least in the mix for the Derby. But Cap, looking back at the Louisiana Derby, I guess real briefly, I really liked Epicenter's race, but was there anything out of any of those 3 preps that jumped out to you?
Well, first of all, I want to ask you, when you see a dollar exacta pay $654 and change, that's a $1,300 plus $2 exacta. What's the biggest? I remember the stupid price for the exacta in the Derby when Giacomo won it.
Yep.
I think it was like $9,800. Like, that's the biggest I've ever heard. What is the biggest exacta price that you in all your years has ever seen in whether it's harness or thoroughbred?
Well, I mean, aside from, like you say, those Derby fields where you get 20 horses in there that has a chance for that massive, massive price. At Hawthorne, you get a gate of 12. We had a race one time where 115 to 1 shot, a horse by the name of Noble Alibi won. It was the rider's only win of the meet. And then you had a big price underneath that. That paid $5,600. So it's one of those where it can happen. And here's the thing, Cap. People play numbers all the time. those are the people that kind of hit these wagers sometimes, just play the same numbers every race. I see it constantly. Our track announcer, Peter Galassi, loves playing numbers. That's how you sometimes cash on these, because sometimes logic just gets thrown completely out of the window and horses just run really weird races and you get prices like that.
Okay, you do this for a living,
Yep.
as do I. You work at the track. You put these fields together. Have you ever, I'm sure you have, because I know I have, where I look and I go, well, let's see here. All right, my workout times tell me it's the 4. Wow. The distance, the turf, the mud, whatever the case, I got to play the 4. And then I look and go, oh, that horse is 73 to 1. Nah, I can't play that. Right?
I avoid the odds. I avoid the odds only for the fact that when I do my selections, I do them before I see morning line odds. I don't want to be influenced by the odds. I don't want them to change the way I look in the races. What I may do is after the fact, if you see the 73 to 1 shot that you thought should be 20 to 1, maybe I'll throw a few more bucks on it actually, because I'm getting a better value than that. But that's one of the things that I look at. The other thing that I'll try to do, and the main way that I can try to hit that big exacta cap, is if you have that big price and you don't know who else you like in the race, then you play it with all in the field. Put that horse on top of all, or everybody on top of that horse. And you just have to know the horse that you like has to finish first or second. But then if anybody else runs in the mix, that's a way to cash big too. So that's kind of the way that I will play it. But yeah, I try to stay away from the influence of morning line odds. It's one of those things that's very tough because I am the line maker at Hawthorne, but I will do my line and then I will push those aside and then handicap off a fresh set of past performances just for that. How about you? When you're handicapping, are you going to let odds influence you at all?
So what I do is I do all my handicapping, distance and track condition and workout times. Look at all of it. And I'm like, all right, that's the horse. I'm in. Here's how I'm going to play this race. Here's my exacta box and here's my try and whatever. And then I go back and I look at Predictiform and a few different sites that do some analytics. And then I allow myself to look at the odds, but I've already locked in on who my pick is. But have I had a couple times where, wow, I really like that horse.
Right.
And then it's how much? 50 to 1. All right, I guess I'm wrong. And then the horse wins.
Right.
And you're mad at yourself.
Yeah. And you can't let it affect you. You can't let it scare you off. You've talked times about how Edzo will talk to you about horses back and forth and what the price is and what the value is. And you know what? Here's the thing. Could you throw 100 across on a horse? Sure. I'm going to cheer the same if I throw 5 across on a horse as if I had 100 across. I cheer for that horse regardless.
Same here. If you told me, yeah, I got an hour to kill, I'm waiting for my what, I will in my car. I always have my laptop, my iPad, my iPhone, and I will go on. All right, I'm sitting out here waiting for my wife to get done with whatever. All right, I'm going to play that race. And I'll handicap it on my, as I have a DRF subscription. I'll go through the 4. All right, I'm going to play $2 across the board. Doesn't change my life. But, oh, man, is it fun to watch the race and go, I actually got that one right.
Right. And that's what it is. And that's what I like. The intrigue of it. Digging deep into races, looking at past performances, and then trying to just dissect things and come up with the winner. It is. It's the excitement. It's the joy. It's the thing about pari-mutuel wagering. You're betting against everybody else who's playing that race. You're not playing against the house. You're playing against the others. So that's the thing that intrigues me the most. All right, Cap. 3 Derby preps this week. They're all 100-point races. We're going to start out at Turfway Park here, looking at this field for the Jeff Ruby Stakes. And, of course, they spell stakes a little bit differently because of Jeff Ruby Steakhouses there. They're massive down in that area. So, unlike the STAKES, this is actually correct. The Jeff Ruby Stakes. It's a field of 12 in here, Cap. Some of these horses are coming back off the John Battaglia Memorial, which was run back on March the 5th. One of those was the winner of the 7, Tis the Bomb. But you look up and down the field, Cap. What jumped out at you about this race with the Jeff Ruby Stakes?
Well, Tis the Bomb is a really intriguing horse, really intriguing. And I have a good friend of mine, that's his pick, who I talk a lot of horse racing with. He feels like this horse has a ton of ability. He likes Kenny McPeek. That's his guy. For some reason, Kenny McPeek must have cashed a few tickets for this guy. So when he sees Kenny McPeek, he really likes him. He won 2 stakes races as a 2-year-old, I think at Keeneland and the Kentucky Downs Juvenile Mile in September. Those were on turf. Brian Hernandez is a solid jockey. He's not in a horrible post position at number 7. I think he's in the 7, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people really, really like this horse. I just looked at it and really felt Stolen Base with Geraldo Corrales up. Stolen Base really intrigued me. Workout time formula for me, past performances. There's something about that horse that jumped out at me, and that's where I'm going.
It's interesting, like you say. Yeah, I like Stolen Base. We'll get to that one in a second there, Kat. Going back to Tiz the Bomb, the thing about Tiz the Bomb, like you mentioned, the best races were on turf and then on polytrack. When this horse is run on a conventional dirt surface, aside from that maiden victory last July, the race on the conventional dirt in the Holy Bull was not good at all. But man, then the horse ran a great race at Turfway Park in that last out. You're only seeing 2-1 in the morning line. So because of that, I do think you have to look for a little bit more value in there. I agreed with you. I thought Stolen Base was a horse that provided a little bit of value. 7-2 in the morning line on this horse. This is a horse that comes out of that race against Tiz the Bomb in that last out. And in that last out, Stolen Base settled back a little bit early on, came running at him late. You mentioned the rider. You get the same rider back. That's important, Cap. I like when you get the rider back, a guy who knows the track. They put blinkers on the horse, too. And that's one of the things. Also, when you come up short, sometimes the horse hangs because it's looking around for other horses. I mean, horses are herd animals. You have to find something to separate yourself from the others. Maybe putting the blinkers on just keeps the focus and gets this horse to run on by. You're getting 7-2, though, on Stolen Base, Cap. I agree with you. I think we're going to get all of that 7-2 in that spot, too, Cap. So that might provide actually a little bit of a value. You get a $9 or $10 winner. That's not too bad.
Well, you've also got Mike Maker as your trainer. He's outstanding. And the Tiz the Bomb Stolen Base matchup in the Battaglia, telling you what, Stolen Base was rolling at the end. I went back and watched it and ran second. I was a big fan of the horse Bodemeister. Yep. That's in his breeding, obviously. So I'm going to look at value like you, and I'm going to take my shot with Stolen Base.
Yeah, and that last race, like you mentioned, the Battaglia, that went a mile and a 16th. This race is a mile and 8. The 16th of a mile further could be all the difference in the world for Stolen Base moving forwardly in the end and looking to run on by. All right, we go over to Oaklawn Park next. The race number 12 is the Arkansas Derby. The Arkansas Derby's produced a lot of horses in the Kentucky Derby that have been factors in the Kentucky Derby too. Cap, this race is interesting for one thing. There's a little bit of a tweak here that you have to look at. It comes with the 4-horse Doppelganger. Doppelganger, previously trained by Bob Baffert. This horse ran in the San Vicente, ran in the San Felipe, ran 4th and 2nd in those races, got 0 points because it was trained by Bob Baffert. Now, new trainer. The owner said, nope, we got it. We're getting away from Bob. We don't think he's going to be in the Kentucky Derby. Goes over to the barn to trainer Tim Yakteen. The horse can earn points now this race. They must think one race is enough to get this horse into the gate for the Kentucky Derby.
Okay, let me ask you a question, because we had talked, I remember asking you the question about Baffert horses and owners leaving, and we're not seeing like a mass exodus out of Baffert. As you look at it, making a move like this, does it surprise you, or they'll go back to Baffert eventually, but the Derby is too tantalizing?
I think you hit it on the head right there. I think they leave Baffert for this race. If they get into the Kentucky Derby off this race, then it stays with this trainer for the Derby, and then maybe goes back to Baffert. Say Doppelganger doesn't run a step at all, finishes 5th, 6th, 7th, doesn't get enough points to get into the Kentucky Derby. I think it goes right back to the barn of trainer Bob Baffert. I think they're taking a shot, trying to get points. This is the only way they can do it. And it's by getting the horse completely out of the barn. You can't run with one of his assistants there. You have to go to a completely new trainer. This is a final shot for them to do it, Cap. That's my feeling. I think it's take that shot. They want to run in the Derby, these owners, and this is their only chance to do it.
Okay, so how did you handicap this race? I'll let you go first this time. How did you play this?
If you're going to take the time to make that move, then you must think your horse has a major chance to run in the Kentucky Derby. Baffert's made this move a lot of times, going from California to Arkansas and having success. and then coming out of there, going on to the Derby and running big. So they're following kind of the same course that they would have if the horse were trained by Bob Baffert. It goes to a different barn, but I am going to stick with Doppelganger in here. This is a horse that finished second in that last out. It's interesting. They take the blinkers off the horse here for this race. The last couple of starts, speed figure wise, was actually pretty good. You're going a little bit longer. There's a decent amount of pace in this race, not a ton of it, but I think Doppelganger probably rates in that second flight. If this horse were trained by Bob Baffert, Cap, I think you're probably seeing 9-5. Trained by Tim Yakteen, you might get the 3-1. So I looked for a little bit more of a chance at a price. So that was the reason that I went to Doppelganger in here. But for you, you're going to a horse that's even a little bit more lightly raced in here, but a horse that's been really good in those two starts too.
Yeah, as I handicapped it, if you put our picks up there, you and I matched on the first race. But as I went through this race, I looked at We the People, and it's coming on, I believe, of the 9 hole.
Yep.
It has Flavien Prat, who I'm a big fan of. This horse also has 0 Derby points. I remember a horse, Constitution. That's his daddy. And looking at all of this, We the People's more of, I would call, a newcomer. And I just feel like this horse has a shot. The workouts are really good. An allowance race that he won, a maiden in won by a mile, 2 starts at Oaklawn, feels good. I'm taking the shot out of the 9 hole. Shoop, get to the front and let's go.
Here's the interesting thing too. You get Flavien Prat in the saddle. He was the one who was riding Doppelganger. I wonder if he had a choice there. He comes off that one, goes to We the People, who Florent Giroux rode in each of those 2 starts. But you're right. This is an intriguing horse, Cap. Won at a mile in that first start out. The mile at Oaklawn Park is a 2-turn race. Then goes the mile and a 16th and stretches out. Battles the whole way around on the lead. They didn't go super quick, but still had to battle head and head. And this was the one that emerged clear in the lane. I talked to Nancy Holter. She's the paddock analyst there at Oaklawn. She loves this horse too. And man, you know what? The outside post normally would scare me a little bit, but when you're going a mile and 1/8, it's a long run into the first turn. The horse can kind of just ease its way into the race a little bit. But Cap, you might be on something there. I think We the People could be a little bit of a factor in that spot.
I also did look at Secret Oath because I'm a Dwayne Lucas guy.
Yeah. Secret Oath. Check this one out, Cap, because Secret Oath is already in the gate for the Kentucky Oaks. This is a filly facing the boys. If Secret Oath wins this race,
points, I believe.
What's that?
60 Oaks points, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
0 Derby.
So this gives them the chance. If they get points here, they could go in the Kentucky Derby. They could cross enter in the 2 and then pick and choose and see what do we get for post position or what is the setup for the race? What can we choose to do? Dwayne Lucas has won his share of Kentucky Derbies in the past. So this is a very intriguing horse, Cap. I agree with you. I think Secret Oath is definitely worth taking a look at. And I think this is a horse that could be a big player in that race too. All right, now, Cap, the last of our Derby preps, I found this to be an insanely good race. And it's the Florida Derby at Gulfstream Park. It goes as race number 14. It's going to be a great card at Gulfstream anyway. You're looking at the field of 11 there, Cap. A couple things that kind of struck me as interesting from the start. I guess the first one is seeing the 2 Classic Causeway even in the race. This is a horse that had enough points off the Sam F. Davis and the Tampa Bay Derby. I tend to wonder if they're trying to find out, are we good enough to be in the Derby? Are we trying to get more points? Or could they have shattered dreams before they even get to Kentucky? I think Classic Causeway making the quick return might be a little bit tough here. I don't know if I'd like that move, but what'd you see? What jumped out at you about this field?
Okay, so Papa Cap, even though it won its first 2 races, this is the horse I have targeted. I'm getting a lot of value at 10-1 on the morning line. I like Mark Cassie a lot. Papa Cap has, I believe, 14 Derby points, but Papa Cap was 2-0 as a juvenile, won a grade 2 at Del Mar, has started 5 times since in graded stakes, missed out on the winner's circle, but hit the board 3 more times. So I look at this horse, yes, didn't run well in the Risen Star, but has been training down in Florida, and I feel like this horse is live, and I've got value, and it's got my name, Cap, misspelled, of course. I'm all in. Let's go.
I think you're going to get better than 10-1 too, Cap. And here's the thing. If you have the ability to put a line through one race and you can just overlook that last race, there's no reason why you shouldn't consider this horse. You have win-win, fourth, second, third, and the third place effort in the Lecomte was beaten less than a length. The horse was very game in that race too. We just saw Epicenter win the Louisiana Derby last week. This was a horse that was only 3/4 of a length behind Epicenter in the Lecomte. Yes, the Risen Star wasn't that great, but that's okay. I agree with you. I think Papa Cap can be a little bit of a factor in there as well. Now, for me, the interesting thing, Cap, there was a good amount of pace in this race. Classic Causeway has to show speed. I'm not sure what we're going to see out of Simplification. Charge It probably shows speed. White Abario might be able to show a little bit of speed for me. I'm going to take a shot at a horse that's an even bigger price in here, Cap.
Oh, boy.
20-1. 20-1 on the 9. Oh, Captain. Joel Rosario rides for Gustavo Delgado. This was a horse that came out of the Fountain of Youth. Now, the Fountain of Youth back on March the 5th was marred by a spill at the top of the stretch. There was a little bit of traffic trouble. Horses had to kind of work their way around a little bit. Simplification was the winner there. Oh, Captain was at the back of the pack when everything kind of went a little bit crazy. And then the horse ran on for third. But if you look at speed figures on DRF, maiden score at Gulfstream, 59. Comes back in the Limehouse at Gulfstream, posts a 71 speed figure, improves 12 points. Comes back in the Fountain of Youth, posts an 88 speed figure, improves 17 points. If you improve 5 or 6 points off of that, the horse is right there. The horse is going to be a massive price. Has run nowhere but Gulfstream Park in its 3 starts. For me, Cap, another Cap horse here, spelled incorrectly. Maybe this is our exacta box. Papa Cap and Oh Captain. What do you think?
That would be amazing. Yeah, I went back and I did watch the Fountain of Youth. I like going back and watching these old races, even ones I didn't have money on. I didn't have a play in that, I don't believe. But he broke really slowly, was last, and there's your 88 speed figure. Yeah, this is absolutely a live horse. I wanted to ask you your thoughts on White Abario. That horse was very intriguing to me. 3-1, not a ton of value, but I think that's a really good horse.
I loved White Abario in the Holy Bull. I picked White Abario in the Holy Bull. We got 6-1 on that horse. And the horse ran a great race. Here's what scared me. The final workout leading up to the race, and you see it came back on the 29th. So just 2 days ago, was a quick 3/8 and 34 and 4. They said they worked the horse despite the horse coming in off a little bit of a fever. That's what scared me a little bit about White Abario. Is the horse going to be 100%? That speed figure was awesome. If the horse is 100% going into the race, the horse is going to be very tough. Ran a huge race in the last out. That was enough for me to stay away from the horse, though, Cap. It was just that little bit of a twinge of a fever, and the fact that it was publicized going into that race scared me off the horse.
One other question I have: how many points do you think it's going to take that you can saddle them up on the first Saturday in May?
20. I think you'll need 20. And the reason I say that is we talked about those barefoot horses and some of those preps leading up. They couldn't get points, but they could take points away from others. So because of that, there has been numerous races where these horses have either won or finished in the money and taken points where others couldn't get points. So because of that, Cap, I think 20 points gets you into the gate. You know there's going to be defections leading up to the Derby as well, between injuries, between sickness, between just skipping the race, whatever. That's my guess. I think 20 points is going to be enough to get you into the field for the Derby. We've seen times where there's been horses with less that have got you in there as well, Cap. So we'll see kind of how things unfold. What's interesting, though, our top picks in the Florida Derby, Cap, are our long shots, too. You look at them right there, Oh Captain and Papa Cap. But again, you're 10-1, Cap, in this race. You're going to get, I think, more value than that. I'm 20-1, so why not? We can have a top pick that's a long shot too.
I'm going to actually put those two together in an exacta box. If I was going to play something with no value, I probably would have played the 3-horse Simplification.
Yeah, and Simplification's a horse that ran a really nice race in that last out in the Fountain of Youth. That was a big move for this horse. And the big move was a winning move there. So definitely, I think Simplification could be a factor as well. All right, Cap. you get $100. So we were looking back and forth on how we were going to play our $100 for this race. And it was interesting because we both went to the Florida Derby, Cap. You were even more bold than I was. We're not going exacta boxes. We're not cheering for multiple horses or anything. Look at that, Cap. Bam! Well, Papa Cap, that's it, huh?
$100 to win. I may get 15 or 20 to 1.
Yes.
It's
going to be huge.
I could make some nice cash here.
I hope we are showing that one of us, if not both, I would be fine if you won this race and I finished second, and we're both showing huge returns on our payouts, Cap, because it could happen. Both of these horses, there's a chance. You never know what can happen. So I'll be curious to see just kind of how things unfold.
And I think your horse, you may get close to 30 to 1.
Yeah, because you're right. They're going to bet Simplification. They're going to bet White Abarrio. They're going to bet Classic Causeway. Now, I don't think Classic Causeway has a shot, but you never know. The second you say that, crazier things can happen, Cap.
Yeah, so I'm leaving Classic Causeway out of all my tickets.
Yeah, I'm leaving the horse out too. I decided to stay away and just have nothing to do with it at all. All right, Spring Stakes Showdown, Cap. You had a nice winner last week over at Santa Anita. Paid pretty good money. We have 3 races for the Spring Stakes Showdown this week. So we just talked about the Florida Derby. If either of us hit for this, Cap, things are going to come through a really big there. Then after that, the Gulfstream Park Oaks and the Singletary Stakes. Now, what's interesting, the Gulfstream Park Oaks only came up with a field of 7. The Singletary only came up with a field of 5. Shocking. Right. 5 horses going a mile on the turf course for $100,000, and that's all you get. But Cap, real quickly, first start out with the Gulfstream Park Oaks in there. You went to Goddess of Fire. What'd you like about Goddess of Fire?
Go look at the workout times. That horse is blazing coming in. And I know people are all caught up on bullet workouts and how a horse is looking on the I look and say, hold on a second. That horse is razor sharp. I don't even mind if the last workout is 3 furlongs and 37. I'm okay. Just take it out, get it loose. But when I see horses going 5 and 58, 4 and 46, and then slow it down and just get some exercise, I feel like that horse is ready to roll.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't mind that at all. I kind of like that. I like the maintenance workout coming into a race where it doesn't have to be super fast. For me, I went to Kathleen O. This is a horse I ran in the Devona Dale. You're not getting any value there, Cap. For me, it's just more of a churn play than anything else. And then going over to Santa Anita, again, there's only 5 in this race in the Singletary. Singletary, yes, is named after Mike Singletary. This was a horse that was a Breeders' Cup winner, Cap. This was a horse trained by a gentleman by the name of Don Chatlos, who is a very good guy, very good trainer. He was a young guy, had one of the greatest runs ever with this horse. So I'm glad they named a stake after Singletary. But for you in here, you went to Handy Dandy in this spot. Ruben Alvarado, the trainer. But man, Cap, this is a horse that's very good going a mile on the turf, it seems like, each and every time.
Yeah, the Handy Dandy lost a close race to Sumter in the Pasadena. And this is a horse that's run well at this distance. And I really like this horse, always hitting the board. Feel like it's got a shot to win the race. I think I'm going to get, decent value as well. So that's why I went that way.
I agree with you. Sumter's going to be the favorite there, Cap. Sumter's going to be probably a heavy favorite in there as well. You pulled off the upset. You defeated going to Vegas last week with your Spring Stakes Showdown horse, so you never know what can happen here, Cap. I think you're in with a big, big shot as well. But, Cap, we have all these big Derby preps. Then things start to wind down a little bit. You still get the Bluegrass, though, that's coming up. We're still going to have a few final preps. And then that first Saturday in May, it all comes together, Cap. You're going to have so much going on. You got new show going on. You got Derby going on. The open of the baseball season, Cap. Here's the one thing. Can I ask you a baseball question here?
Bring it on.
You're a Cubs fan, all right? I'm a Sox fan. Sox over-under for win total is held right around 91.5 on most wagering sites.
Over.
All right. The Cubs started at 71.5, went to 73.5. Today I saw them at 75.5. What has made them improve 4 wins for all the books to make that change? Because that's a pretty big move. I haven't seen it. What do you see coming out of the Cubs? What's going on here that I'm missing?
I think their starting pitching is going to be better than people expect. Seiya Suzuki is going to be a middle-of-the-order bat who's also solid defensively, has a good arm. On-base percentage is high. He has a great amount of plate discipline. So I really like that this team is not dealing with any injury so far in spring training. I feel like Suzuki's addition is a huge, huge bat to bring into that lineup. And then I expect a better year out of Ian Happ. And I really look at this team and feel like, yeah, I'm not telling you they're going to win 94 games and cruise to the division. I'm just telling you they're going to be better than people think.
They only have to win 76 to go over. So, but it is, and it's a weird division. The Pirates aren't very good. The Reds aren't good again. I think St. Louis could be very good this year. And we don't know on Milwaukee. Milwaukee always seems to just kind of be right there. So it'll be very interesting. But Cap, you are on to your next gig. You got 15 minutes and you got a dress rehearsal, right?
We got a dress rehearsal for our new show, Unfiltered. Then we have the Cubs Talk podcast. Then we're shooting promos. Then we've got the rush. And then it's dinner time, baby.
You're dressed well, Cap, though. You are in your Kentucky Oaks outfit. I love it.
I just went because I've never been to the Derby. Have you?
I've been to 2 derbies. I did 1 derby in the infield. I did 1 derby in the grandstand. The derby in the infield, I saw about 3 jumps of the race. The derby in the grandstand, I saw every race that day. So I've done a little bit of both. You should go. It's an awesome experience. It's amazing how massive Churchill Downs is as a facility, but they do a heck of a job for those 2 days.
I never have been to the Derby. I've been to Churchill, but never to the Derby. But I bought a jacket. You know, I don't like to dress like a banker, as you can tell today. I bought a jacket yesterday. It is a Derby special. So someday we're going to get to do this.
We have to. We'll do it. I'll go with you. It'll be an absolute blast, but we will do it for sure. All right, Cap, we're going to sign off. Going to send you on to Unfiltered. Get your dress rehearsal going. Get everything going. Best of luck to you this week. And we'll do it again next week, my friend.
All right, tee it up. Let's see if we can cash some spring stakes tickets.
Oh, man, that would be huge. Good luck to everybody. We'll see you again next week.
We'll see you.